Hey BB crew, and welcome back to episode 5 of our Simracing series. And in today's video we're going to be looking at track characteristics. Different tracks offer different challenges to drivers, and these challenges can be broken down into a few characteristics: long corners, short corners, camber, and elevation. Different combinations of these provide the challenging education to you as a driver. The first track we're going to take a look at is Suzuka. Suzuka features two very famous corners. One is a section of corners called the S-curves, and the other is 130R. The S-curves are a prime example of long corners, requiring you as a driver to keep a very stable platform as you navigate the car through this sector. 130R, on the other hand, is actually a short corner. You brake very sharply, turn, and the corner's over, before you even know it. Let's take a look at an example of the S-curve section of Suzuka. Now let's see how this compares to the 130R corner. As you can see, the prime focus around the S-curves is throttle patience, whereas with 130R it's a quick jab at the brake and then immediately back to full power. These are very different characteristics of two very different types of corner, even though the radius of the corner is very long. They're not both long corners. The S-curves primarily teach us how to apply throttle when the car is mid-rotation. This is a very important skill to have as a driver for getting onto the power very early. Suzuka also has another corner called first turn. This is the first turn of the track, and it teaches a V line. The approach to this corner is to take a double apex. The first apex is to basically drive to the outside curb in an almost straight line, braking down to fourth. When you hit the outside curb, you then brake down to second and rotate the car into the second part of the curb, making a V shape, as you'll now see. This is another really important skill that we can learn from this corner, and it applies a technique called a late apex, which allows us to get better exits in some, but not all, long corners. The next track we're going to take a look at is Imola. Imola is quite infamous for its short corners and usage of the curbs. In this example, we're going to look at the Villeneuve Variante corner sequence. In order to make a short corner shorter, you really need to use as much track as possible, and Imola is a prime example for this, as it has curbs all over it that you can exploit to get much shorter radius corners and therefore faster lap time. Imola also plays some tricks on us with elevation. Ravazza, possibly Imola's most famous corner, is famed for incredibly difficult braking downhill into a second gear left-hand short corner that you need to take over the curb to make it short as possible. If that wasn't bad enough, it's also off camber, so if you get this line wrong, you will get it really wrong and be into the gravel. Donnington's a very unique track that provides challenges to us as drivers. Old Hairpin is another example, very similar to Ravazza, only it's faster. This corner has negative camber, which means if you get this right, you can really hook in to the corner and absolutely shoot out to the other side. However, as you come to the exit, you might find the car sliding and losing control over the curb because it gains more rotation due to that negative camber than you would initially have expected. This corner teaches us to point the wheel as straight as possible when taking a corner. Coppice is another interesting corner of Donnington. It goes up a hill on the braking zone, which means we can brake very, very late. But then we have an off-camber corner that pushes us out to the outside edge of the track and leaves the outside rear tyre very, very prone to being overloaded and losing complete grip. This is another long corner where patience on the throttle is absolutely required. This concludes the examples that I've got for you today of different track characteristics, and I very much hope to see you here for the next one. So with that being said, goodbye for now.